think I've sold you on
That
this.
investment was paying off.
Yeah, now I
Totally.
can teach scouts for
now I can
free.
teach that.
That's how you get ready for the big show. Teach the scouts, then you can take it to the mainstream.
From fabulous Las Vegas, Nevada, this is Pod Therapy. Real people, real problems, and real therapists. You can submit your questions anonymously at podtherapy.net or email us at podtherapyguys@gmail.com. We've had several episodes in a row that had really good Patreon content.
Yes.
So it was time for one that didn't.
We threw one away.
This one, yes. This one was very Jim heavy. And now, broadcasting from the churn, that guy is Dr. Jim Jobin. I'm Nick Tangeman. It's time for some Pod Therapy.
I will survive. I'm sure that I will survive my my backpacking trip into the wilderness.
That's true.
So-
if you don't like Jim on the show,
Yeah. Wait
you might
2 weeks.
Yeah,
I might not be back.
you might have something to look forward to.
Yeah.
So
might
you-
survive one.
You probably forgot,
Yeah.
but you did lose a bet
Oh, did I?
at the last show.
That doesn't sound like me.
So
That can't be true.
you owe drinks after the show.
Do I?
Oh yeah.
Dang it.
Oh yeah. I'm not gonna collect tonight.
Oh, no. And I think now we need to settle the bet for next time,
Oh, okay.
which is how long before Jim has to drink his own urine on this trip.
On this trip? Yeah. If I just get it done on the way there,
I
that'll
think-
hit
I
the
That's an
under.
over/under.
That's the
think-
trick.
I'm
You go
guessing-
early,
okay.
get this thing out of the way.
over
does it-
under 48 hours.
Does it count if the kids trick him into doing it?
No, this is by choice.
Okay. Okay.
No, not by choice, by necessity.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Okay, you got to really get into the motivations on this thing.
So this is Jim drinks his own urine after deciding
Yeah.
that he is going to drink his own urine.
Yeah.
And this is all on his own volition.
It's drink the urine or die.
Those are the options.
Those are the
Yeah.
options.
Okay. I want to know how long
The trip
before...
is 3 days.
Yeah.
Now you can go 3 days, so it would necessitate you getting lost first,
Okay.
which I think is a given.
I
I think you can go 2 days, right? Without
think I can
without
find my
water?
way.
Yeah.
Isn't it usually about 48 hours?
Yeah, but he's going to bring some with him,
Yeah.
so he's going to run out of his
he's
own
gonna
supply.
forget that in the car.
Okay.
Yes.
Or
okay.
I'll be like, oh,
Correct.
this plant looks thirsty.
Actually, that's
Hang in there, little flower. I got you.
the real bet here is how many pieces of equipment. I'm going to put the over/under at 2.5.
Okay.
How many pieces of equipment
Will I forget?
is Jim going to purchase specifically for this backpacking trip?
Yeah.
And then forget it
Yeah.
either at home or in the car.
Yeah.
Oh, I'll take the under.
Yeah.
Okay.
Only because I know Jim and I know how anal he is about preparing.
I inventory.
But he's
my-
also
yes, I
going
have
to
a
be dealing
list.
with his kid.
That's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah, I'm going to inventory everything. So no, nothing. And plus, you guys just gave me a bunch of.
I
Really
mean,
good
he'll
suggestions.
definitely lose it along the way.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it's
No,
not.
no, he's not coming backwards.
It's not
Yeah.
going backwards.
No,
No,
those are
that's
one-time
easy.
use items. That tent is one-time use. I didn't pack it back up.
I imagine the
It's too hard.
conversation with his wife once he gets home is like, okay, you can misplace the shovel. How did you come home without any underwear?
yeah.
Right.
Like, how did that happen?
I brought one pair.
Those aren't yours.
Pack light. This is why they make the banana hammock. It's because it's airy and you stay cool out in there. Patreon.com/therapy. Why not?
Jim's going on a walkabout.
Throw a buck in a hat.
Welcome.
A couple of good questions here. Let's start off with sleeping trouble. Hello, Theraboys. Hi. For the past 2 months or so, every time I lay my head down to go to sleep, I feel an empty, void type feeling all over me. I've had trouble with my sleep for about 2.5 years, basically since I went through a majorly abusive relationship that I'm still trying to cope with to this day. I'm out of that now, but it left me with a major anxiety of my own dreams and thoughts. In a chronological period of time from 2 years ago to now, I used to have panic attacks no matter what before bed, consume media while falling asleep to stop panic attacks, force myself to go to sleep, have a little dissociation as a bedtime snack, or make myself really sleepy with melatonin to knock myself out. I have no clue if the melatonin really helped anything, but I took it a couple times and it felt like it did. I don't know.
People say it works.
I used to try it.
People say things about it.
Now, present day, before I fall asleep, I just feel dreading, like I'm floating in a void that's taking away whatever happiness I have. I don't have panic attacks as frequently anymore, but when I do, my panics are shaped from the idea of after that awful relationship ended, I couldn't stop feeling scared, and the thought of how that scaredness is never going to leave me. I'll be going through it with my therapist very soon. I just want to know what you guys may think of this. Oh, and one more thing. You guys do such great work, by the way. You were the extra push to get me into therapy.
Awesome.
Oh, good.
Awesome. I've been listening for almost a year, and y'all have been the best bedtime snack for my ears, despite my sleep issues. Pronouns are he and him. Thanks, guys. Sly.
Great.
Yeah. Well, glad you got into help. That's awesome.
So, Jim, you deal with anxiety.
I do.
Has it ever affected sleeping patterns?
It can, yeah. So, I mean, I'll be interested if... So, a couple of things here that I think are worth highlighting. One, toward the end, Sly talks about how there's been like this evolution, right? So it started with like big panic attacks before bedtime in the wake of the relationship, which I find interesting. I'm curious to pull some threads on that. I'm sure his therapist kind of will. It sounds like now there's an anxiety about anxiety, which is really common, especially for those of us that have experienced panic attacks.
I was going to say, that's got to be just everyone,
Oh,
right?
and that's the dread, is because whenever you're slowing down to go to bed, you become very aware of yourself, especially if you have a history of this.
Hope it doesn't happen tonight.
Yeah.
Same way with insomnia, I think, where it's
Exactly.
like
You're
you
thinking
get in
about
your
the
own head.
problem.
Yeah, you
Yeah, yeah.
dread it so
Yep.
much that it just kind of creates itself.
It goes full circle. And I
Yeah.
think that's obviously happening here with Sly. Like, I mean, now you're being aware of your breathing, you're being aware of panic, you're feeling a sense of like dissociation, which is that like detachment from reality. You're staring into the void, you're dreading it because now you're afraid of your own dreams and you're afraid of having nightmares, which is super duper shitty. And so like the things that I would advise on this one, so I'm going to suggest that you consult with a physician. I like that you're talking to your therapist. I do think they're going to try to talk to you about probably grounding techniques. They're probably going to talk about kind of like a mantra or a guided meditation you can do at the end of the night. I suspect their goal is not going to be to clear your head, but rather to fill your head with productive thoughts, because that way it can kind of like push away from anxious thinking. But I'm really curious what a physician would say if you saw a psychiatrist. There are medicines like trazodone, which really put people to sleep. They're very powerful as a sedative, and they also clear nightmares, and they're often prescribed to people with PTSD. Or there's an anti-anxiety medicine. It's really an antihistamine, but it often gets prescribed for anxiety, called hydroxyzine. And I've used hydroxyzine in the past. It's basically super Benadryl, and it definitely makes you sleepy. It brings down anxiety. It's a great nighttime kind of anti-anxiety medicine.
Don't just start taking something. Talk to a doctor.
Talk to a doctor, yeah. I'd just be interested in what a psychiatrist would say, because those would be common things for these particular issues. I wouldn't be surprised if those were prescribed.
Now, just going to play devil's advocate. What if Sly has thought of that and says, I don't want to take anything because
Right.
I'm afraid I'll get
Right.
hooked on it or something like that?
I mean, those are neither of those are interesting. So
Right.
yeah, super Benadryl, you're not going to get hooked on it. You just have clear sinuses and go to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
And trazodone, same thing. Nobody gets hooked on trazodone to just get a damn good night's sleep out of it. But okay, I mean, you
I
see,
don't
It's
know,
not
it
like
sounds pretty good.
Ambien.
yeah, like Ambien is, Ambien's a narcotic.
Yeah.
Like that'll actually give you something. Or Xanax is, a narcotic. It's a benzo. So these aren't exciting. Again, we don't give medical advice, just general education. You might want to talk to a psychiatrist. Melatonin. I've tried melatonin. Have you guys ever used melatonin?
No, I have. It didn't have an effect on me.
I did.
I
But I
keep
also
meaning-
realized I was taking like a lethal amount of melatonin. I did not know.
I keep meaning to try melatonin.
Yeah. It worked for me, but again, I took enough to kill like an elephant. So that was not a good choice. They shouldn't have sold it in that quantity, first off. Like I didn't know what was a normal amount, so I just bought whatever I saw on a shelf. And then it said like take 1 to 2 or whatever. So I was like, I'm taking 2, because why take 1 and find out I didn't go to sleep, like, and then take another one. So I dropped 2 of these bad boys, and I was taking them for a while. And then one day, one of my patients is a doctor, and so like we're chatting about stuff and talking about sleep and insomnia. It's like, oh yeah, I've tried melatonin. He was like, okay, I've had some patients try that. What was your experience? I was like, oh, dude, out like a light. Like I have a hard time waking up. And he goes, huh? Do you have the bottle? Like, I'd like to know what brand. And I was like, oh, sure. And I grabbed it because, I was working from home. So I ran out and got it. And I showed him it. And he saw the milligrams. And he was like, throw that away right now. It's like, never take that again.
How much was it?
It was a lot. I don't know. But he was
I mean,
like,
this
you're
says that-
supposed to take this much. And I was like,
This
oh,
says
shit.
that doses near the 30 milligram mark are usually considered harmful.
Yeah. It was very high. And so, like, he was like, you should only be taking, like, whatever it was, like single digits
Like
of
half
that.
a pill.
Yeah, and I was like, so yeah, I definitely backed down for the melatonin, but it worked. It worked when I took it.
Huh.
So all good
here's
options.
the article I want. Can you overdose on melatonin?
Yeah.
See, I never had issues with sleep so much. I just at one period of my
The
life.
answer is yes.
Ooh,
Oh,
that's
wow.
not good.
Yeah.
You don't want to do that.
Only one time in my life did I ever really have sleep issues dealing with like stress.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, the other sleep issues that I had was restless leg syndrome.
Oh, okay. The fidgets.
That sucks.
Oh,
That's
wow.
terrible.
What did you do?
I stopped taking my pre-workout like in the evening.
Yeah. Riddle solved.
Yeah. Wasn't much of a riddle.
Yeah. How much was the copay to figure that out?
Nothing. I knew it right away. Just took
Maybe
a
you
while
don't take
to-
this anymore.
Yeah. Well, because I was working out in the evenings,
Okay.
so I moved my workouts to the
to
morning.
the morning. Yeah.
and
And then
that
you
took
slept
care of
better
it.
after that.
Yeah.
Yeah. That probably feels about right.
But yeah, it's a mess, and I think Jim's right in the sense that like once you get into that cycle of not sleeping well and then knowing
And
you're not
you
sleeping
dread it.
well, and
Oh,
then
that's
you
the
get
worst.
anxiety about it, and then
Yep.
you get anxiety about the anxiety.
Yep.
Oh wow! Apparently, you can take enough melatonin to tank your blood pressure.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah. I slept
There's
like
there's
the
a
dead.
there's a list of things that can happen if you take too much. It's things like headaches, dizziness, nausea, drowsiness, irritability, depression, and anxiety, stomach cramps, mild tremors,
Woo.
extraordinarily low blood pressure.
Yeah. Boy.
So
That
I-
last one is important.
I think
They
I
should
think-
move that to the top of the list.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why is that at
Maybe
the
lead
bottom?
with that.
Yeah.
The part where your heart stops working.
Right.
Probably. Let's get that up at the
I
front.
think the point where we're all on the same page here is talk to somebody other than us. I think
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
kind of
yeah.
what we're getting at. Talk to a
Yeah.
doctor because
Talk to somebody that can get real details about you and ask you questions that you can answer right
yeah,
there.
but otherwise, I think your therapist is probably going to be on the right track as far as assisting, like with what Jim said, with some mindfulness, some meditation stuff, some techniques.
Yeah.
Probably talking about kind of changing that your cognitive reframing around bedtime and what that actually means for you, and
Yes.
some coping skills to deal with that.
But it's a very common thing, Sly. I mean, I've had so many people that have had that challenge. There's been times when I've never really been in the anxious category of dreading my own anxiety, but it is very common. That's just not my personal fear profile, but there are a lot of people that is. And when it happens, man, it takes a lot of reframing. It takes a lot of education, realizing this can't hurt me. Anxiety can't hurt me. I have to radically accept this experience. It's going to pass through me. Using those thinking strategies and grounding techniques to just kind of give yourself that edge. But then also remembering, if you do not sleep, the worst thing that can happen is you're tired. And that's it. Sometimes with anxious people, we fear not getting the sleep and we're afraid that the next day is going to be bad or something bad's going to happen to us. And that exacerbates the inability to sleep because now you're on high alert. And it's pretty hard to go to bed whenever your emergency alarm system, which is your anxiety response, is blaring. It's like a smoke alarm going off in your body. So of course you're not going to fall asleep. So the first thing is convincing that smoke alarm that there is no danger. And that's why we have to normalize, okay, I'm not afraid of my anxiety because it can't hurt me. I'm not afraid of insomnia. That can't hurt me. I'm not afraid of my dreams. They aren't real. They can't hurt me. And I probably won't even remember them. But for some people, they need to go do a psychiatry consult.
Mm-hmm.
And especially, there's some people with PTSD that have really bad nightmares. And there's medicines for that, with psychiatry. So that might be something you want to check into, Sly.
Yep.
But a really common thing. So
Totally
great
agree.
question. Man, we don't talk enough about sleep.
No.
Sleep studies are really important. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about being concerned for a young girl at their work. You're listening to Pod Therapy.
Today's Therapy Producer sponsors are Nathan's Hot Dog Scoop, Dr. Don, Richard Macy, Lord Colin Stewart, and Sammy Scoop.
Sammy!
If you too would like to become a therapy producer, go over to patreon.com/therapy and sign up. All right, our trivia question today, in honor of my laziness, is what time is it?
10:46 p.m.
And now, broadcast. Oh wait, no, okay. Become a therapy producer. Anyway, no, there's a little trick to this.
Okay.
Not what time is it here.
Oh.
What time is it in Lima, Peru.
Oh.
So currently in Las Vegas, it is 10:46 p.m.
Yes.
What time is it in Lima, Peru?
Oh, that's easy. It's 46.
10:46. Oh, you just okay. I
And
see
Lima
what
is
you did.
46.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, it's 10:47 now.
Okay, you're wrong.
The question has changed.
Lima, Peru. I feel like Peru is on.
True or false is in Africa.
Oh, yeah. I feel like it's
Okay, I'm going to suggest, Jacob, you let him go first.
Yeah.
just take the under over.
I mean,
on this.
I've got a guess, but it's yeah.
I feel like Peru is near Brazil,
Okay.
and I feel like I remember Manu talking about her time zone
Okay.
at some point on Twitter being a Western time zone or something. So I say 10:46. I'm sticking to it's now. It's now in Peru.
It's now.
Final answer.
Yeah.
Now.
No, that was then.
Now. Not.
We're in now.
Are we? Oh, that's Spaceballs reference.
Yeah. Good job.
All right.
We just missed it, sir. When? Just now. But when
I think
will
it's
we
either
soon?
2 or 3 hours. I'm going to guess 3 hours. So I'm going to guess it's Eastern time.
Okay.
Eastern time zone.
Ahead of us.
Yes.
3 hours.
Yes, correct.
So wait, what does that mean? It's later. It's later then.
Yeah.
Okay. So plus 3 to 10.
So I'm guessing it's 1:48.
I don't do that kind of math.
Nailed it.
Is it? It's Eastern
It
time?
is.
It's Eastern
It is.
time.
Yes.
Wow. Way to reach down deep into the clock function of your phone
Yeah.
and just find
Believe it or
trivia.
not, it seems impulsive. I actually had this idea like 3 weeks ago.
Oh, okay. It's
So,
solid. I mean, it
it's-
played
it's-
well. That's really good.
Yeah.
So Peru's on the
Best
East
trivia
Coast?
question of the day
Yes.
so far.
So far.
So Peru is underneath Florida.
Yeah.
It's on the
he's-
East Coast, but
essentially,
under that.
Yeah. Or
Huh.
Close to it.
Wow, I think of like Jamaica is underneath Florida, but there's Peru over there too. Is
You gotta
Peru
go
an
further
island?
It's a
south.
whole other continent.
Oh, Peru's not an island.
Peru is not an island. No.
Oh, so
No.
was part of Africa?
What continent
No.
is Peru a part of?
Okay,
What
it's
continent?
not part of America.
Why
so-
would a country in Africa be in the same time zone that we're in?
There's like a west side of it? There's like that whole side that like hangs off the left.
I need you to draw a sketch of the world.
It's like underneath it, man. Like
Answer the
it's-
question.
why
What
is it-
continent? What continent is Peru on?
Well, okay, I can rule out Africa because Nick, and I can rule out America, and it's East Coast, so it's got to be South America. Or
It is
Central
South
America.
America.
Oh, I got it.
Wait, or what?
Central America.
You think it
one of
might be
those
on the
two.
continent of Central America?
No, wait, Central America is West Coast time. It's South America.
Okay.
All right. See, I got it.
True or
And-
false?
and-
Central America is a continent.
True or false?
Looking
Central
at Nick's eyes, I'm going to go
No,
with
hold
false.
and Central America is not West Coast time.
Why isn't it? It's under Mexico.
Yeah.
Mexico's under California.
Yeah.
Part of it is.
Part of it.
Yeah, that's what I
Have
said.
you seen Central America? It does this. It
Like-
drifts to the east.
Oh, does it?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Costa Rica is like directly south of like Louisiana. If you were to
Oh,
draw
yeah.
straight down on a map.
Wow.
I mean, Brazil, where Manu is,
Yeah.
if you just go straight north from Brazil, you're like in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, like halfway between the U.S.
Oh,
and
it
Europe.
sticks out?
Like, yeah, it's
Oh,
way
wow.
far east.
Okay,
Yeah.
so she's probably East Coast time.
Further than East
Yeah,
Coast
yeah.
time.
No,
she's
oh,
way
yeah,
further
she's
than
past
East
that.
Coast. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I don't know what she said.
What
I just know she
continent-
said something about time.
You weren't
zone.
listening.
No, I
What
didn't
continent is
leave
Brazil on?
South Africa. South the southern one. That one. It's underneath us. It's underneath the Atlantic Ocean. What Nick just said.
All right.
It's in the East Coast.
So the Atlantic continent.
It's Atlantis.
Atlantis.
Concern for a young girl at my
It's
work.
in Atlanta.
Atlanta, where the players play. Hey, dudes of the churn. I write you because I have concern for someone I hardly know. I work at a place that many people visit every day, and they commonly spend hours there. In recent months, a 13-year-old girl has been frequenting our business. There are 2 reasons I've begun to worry a bit. One, she's very thin, noticeably more than even other girls her age. 2, she spends a lot of time at my place of work almost every day. She seems to go straight there from school and will still be there at 9 o'clock or later. This could be nothing, but I wonder why she doesn't want to be home. Is there something that she's avoiding, like abuse? Or why don't her parents care about her never being home? Could it be neglect? I could see how either of these possibilities could lead to eating disorders, explaining her thinness, and I'm not saying that she has a disorder. I'm a mandated reporter for my state, which means I have to report suspected child abuse. I don't know if there's enough there for concern, though. Plus, I know only her first name and nothing else about her. Does this sound like enough cause for concern to you? Any advice on how to proceed, Anonymous?
It's moments like this that I'm upset that we don't get to these sooner.
Yeah.
Because we got so many questions in our queue, which is
Right.
awesome.
Which is wonderful.
We
yeah.
love that.
Yeah. We might have to
but
start
sometimes
skimming
we
the
just-
queue
yeah,
and
we need to
pulling some
start
of the
getting
timely
some of
ones
these,
to the
yeah.
top. Yeah, nobody would mind. Nobody's going to be
yeah.
upset that they got bumped back a week.
This is concerning. I mean, I would agree. There's not enough here to really say there's an eating disorder. It could just be a food deficiency.
Yeah, we don't
You
know.
And like
Some
I don't-
teenagers are just skinny.
Yeah, it could be that.
and that's true too. But yeah, I mean, being there right after school until 9:00, that does seem like a really long time. I imagine this is probably like a YMCA or a library,
Maybe a library
or something like
yeah,
that.
I bet it's a library.
That is a lot of time. Here's what I would do, and I don't know what your take on this is, Jim, but if I was in your position, what I would do is I would just, she's there every day, start having a conversation. You know her first name, just, hey, how you doing? And just check in, and if you start kind of building some of that rapport, maybe she'll kind of open up. But it never does any harm to just ask, hey, are you doing okay? Or even, I mean, if it's possible, I don't know your work circumstance, if this is appropriate or not. So definitely, operate within your policies and procedures at your job. But, if you're able to give her some food, if you've got some snack food or something, say, hey,
Right.
how you doing today? Do you want, I've got an extra granola bar. Do you want that?
Yeah.
And just to kind of build some rapport.
Sure.
Obviously, I think one of the things that you want to keep in mind here too is we live in a world where if you're a man doing this, you got to be
you might want to get a colleague.
but just be careful with that. But
Whatever you do it in the open.
yes,
of
absolutely,
course.
but I would just kind of, I don't know if this falls into mandatory reporting or not. But here's the thing with mandatory reporting is you don't have to make the call whether or not it warrants it.
Yeah.
You just make the call.
Exactly.
They decide what to do with it.
Exactly.
So if you feel like it's close, maybe it's not bad, you can always call because it can always be anonymous too.
Right.
You can always just say, hey, I'm not going to give you my name, but here's the information. Does this sound like something that would warrant an investigation? So you could always do that. But otherwise, if you're not going to do that, or even if you are going to do that, I would still, just be friendly and just start developing some rapport, and maybe you can get some more information.
Yeah, and good eye on this one, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that you're paying attention, and there's some warning signs here. I mean, obviously, we can detect an underweight child, and okay, it's a blinking light. We're not sure, but also the fact that this child is avoiding home a lot of the week, that they're spending 12 hours and longer, probably 15 hours out of their home every day, going to school, coming straight to this, I'm assuming it's a library or maybe a park and rec or something like that, whatever it is,
It's a Radio Shack.
Yeah.
That's a long time to spend in a Radio Shack.
That feels about right. Whatever.
It's a little known fact that all the cashiers at Radio Shack are mandatory reporters.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the only clue I'm
Good
using
for
here.
you, Radio Shack.
Yeah, they got ahead on this one. So whatever it is, obviously
It's Circuit City.
That's what's concerning. Circuit City. It's all these outdated, no longer existing places. This person is writing us from
It's a Sam
1995.
Goody.
Sam Goody. Yeah, that would actually make sense. But no, that's a real thing. Like, music stores and like a lot of those video game stores and stuff, like kids will just sit around, or like comic shop, and they're just there, and you realize like, man, this kid doesn't go anywhere. Libraries for a lot of America are like the default childcare, like after school programs. And, it's actually a big reason why in general, if your town or group or, community ever discusses funding libraries, always vote to fund libraries. Like, it's very important for communities, especially kids like this. Libraries are a lot of families' only aftercare option to keep their kids safe, make sure homework gets done, and you know, parents got to work and get home afterward. But what I would echo here is Nick's point. A lot of people fret over the mandated part of mandated reporting, and a lot of people get nervous, like, oh, I don't want to cause any trouble. Should I call? Always call. Always call. Whenever you call CPS, Child Protective Services, a professional whose job it is to figure this out is going to answer the phone. They will ask questions, they will get clues, and if they want to check on this kid, they'll say, tell us the location, and you said they're there every day after school. What do they look like? What's the first name? Jenny? Okay, cool.
Man, that makes me nervous.
It's CPS.
Always call makes me nervous.
No, always call.
'Cause
Always call.
all you have to do to like really screw something up in somebody's life is to get somebody who's not good at their job.
I guess, but that can't be the reason we don't call for help with kids.
No. I'm not saying if you need help, don't call.
Yeah.
That's not what I'm saying. That like, if you have a question,
Yeah.
maybe not immediately err on the side of call.
So here's my fear. If let's say
I'm not saying. I'm honestly, I'm not saying anything. I'm saying it makes me nervous.
okay, and
Yeah.
which is fine. I get
Well,
that
and
logic.
I always got nervous making those calls too.
Yeah.
So I worked
That's
at
it.
I used to work at a facility with women and children,
Yeah.
and occasionally we would have to do that. And it's like, yeah, there's always those times. I mean, I'm a social worker, and even I sometimes is like, I don't know if this warrants a call or
But
not.
people fear that they're going to like come rip a child away or something. They don't do that. Like it's a wellness thing.
Well, and
they
I-
check on them. They ask them questions, and they're qualified to assess.
I
the
have
risk.
I've even called before, and the worker on the line's like, yeah, no, we're not messing with that.
I've had that happen too.
And it's like, oh, all right,
Yeah.
well, cool.
As a
well,
mandated reporter, I've called and said, "Here's what I've observed. I'm making sure I document that, and you know, I'm logging this call." And then it's the ball's in their hands. And that's the thing I think a lot of people don't understand about CPS. Is a lot of people think
Yeah.
as soon as you make the call, they're on their way, they're grabbing the child.
Oh yeah.
They do not. These guys get so many calls. They're professionals. They have a sorting system.
Mhm.
And if anybody's going to talk to this kid, I want it to be them because they can send, you know, a qualified person who can say, hey, kiddo, are you okay? What do you need? And really get some answers. And if the kid doesn't want to say anything to them, that's not a crime. They're going to go, okay, well, here's our card. If you ever need anything, please call us. We can get you food
I mean, there
or
is,
lunch.
and especially in the position that we're in, like, we can't tell you not to. I
Right.
can't in good conscience say you shouldn't
No.
call.
I say err on the side of giving a
So
call.
I mean, there is that.
The
Yeah.
professionals are not going to overreact. They have access to resources.
Here's what I think. I think you call, and when you call, I think they're going to say, yeah, no,
Thanks
just
for the
keep an
tip.
eye on her,
That's
and if
probably what they
anything
will.
happens, let her. You
Yeah.
know.
But if they have the resource, they may say, hey, thanks for letting us know. We have a female social worker. We're going to send her out there, and she's just going to make contact with the kid and give a phone number in case she needs any safety. That's it. And a lot of times that's all they're going to do. I mean, we don't even know how old this kid is. Let's say this is like a high school kid.
It's
They-
13.
Yeah, okay, 13. They
Yeah.
may send a person to come out and just contact this child and be like, hey, here's a phone. Are you homeless? Are you sleeping behind this library? You know, like, this is how we find out. This is how you catch things and fix it. But, like, and I'd actually pick that over even approaching the kid and talking to them directly because, like, if I walk up to a kid and I say, hey, I'm Jim, I work at this library. I notice you're always here till 9 p.m. Is everything okay? Something I do or say could intimidate this kid, and now all of a sudden they don't come to this library anymore. And then who knows where they're at now? Are they on the streets? Are they cold? I want a professional to go talk to the kid and get them resources.
Well, I think that is always my biggest fear too.
That's
is
the
like,
fear with any of it. Yeah.
Yeah, is like, oh shit, you know, I if I do something, you know, and it goes wrong, then now she doesn't even feel comfortable coming
Right.
here.
If the
and
kid
then
has
now
one
it's-
shot, I want him to talk to the professional whose job it is to know what to do.
Yeah, but honestly, I don't think, you know, you, the writer, having a conversation and talking with her, I don't think
It's not-
that's going to
I don't
drive
think it's
her
going to
the
cause
wrong-
any harm.
No,
But
I
read
don't
the
think so.
situation. If the kid seems skittish and shy, I don't know. I mean,
Yeah.
listen, that's why I'm saying you have the ability to contact a professional almost without consequences. You can describe the situation, you can give them the information, and honestly, like, this kid may be emaciated, this kid may be homeless, like, that could be happening. This kid be trying to hide in this building until 9 p.m. when it closes probably. And then who knows? Homeless youth is a real thing. Undernourished youth is a real thing. So I think you have plenty of context clues. You call CPS, you leave an anonymous tip, you say, this is what they look like, this is the time of day they're here every day. And they may just show up and say, hey, kid, if you need a food program, here's a card, you can go anywhere and get lunch. And, like, honestly, that exists. They may just bring them a backpack full of food and say, do you need dinner? Do you need breakfast? This is how stuff gets caught. Kids don't just walk up to adults and tell them that they're undernourished or scared to go home. It starts with somebody concerned in the community that notifies a professional. That's why we pay taxes, so these guys can go help. Mm-hmm. That's my vote.
Yeah.
I just don't have any faith in anybody.
You don't.
No, I will say to the point that you brought up, because that's a real point. You said it just takes one bad worker.
Yeah.
That would go and cause a huge problem. And I cannot say that.
Or not even a huge problem, but just take away this one spot where this kid feels comfortable hanging out.
Right. Yeah.
It could just be a simple. I mean, not take it away, but make it where they
Makes
don't
the
come
kid
back.
uncomfortable.
Yeah. And now the kid doesn't come back.
More kids have suffered by the silence of those who saw
Sure.
what was going on.
Of course.
Than by the interventions of unqualified professionals.
Now, I will say, because I know that we've got a lot of listeners out there that are probably thinking this, because when we think about child protective services, TV and movies do a terrible job of portraying this, because they always I was thinking
pull away the screaming kid
right.
who was clutching to their child,
exactly,
like their mother.
Exactly.
That's not what happens.
And I always or
unless it's Monday,
or
unless Bill's working.
Yo,
Bill's a dick.
that does happen.
No,
when
you know what
Bill's
I
at
always
the
think
office.
of? I always think of Mrs. Doubtfire. That's the one I always think of, the worker there, and she wasn't evil, but she was just kind of
right. What the story needed an antagonist.
Yeah, exactly.
That's it.
But I mean, with my experience with CPS, the thing that I've seen most often
is nothing.
Is CPS having a pretty good idea that something isn't right and not being able to do anything about it.
They're very
I see
powerless.
that way more often than I see them overstepping their bounds and
Yeah.
doing something without evidence.
Yeah.
Because that opens up a whole can of worms that they don't want to mess with.
A lot of people
They've got
think
a pretty,
that, they're not the Gestapo. They don't have any power.
Well, they have a pretty high standard, a burden of
Yeah.
proof.
They-
I mean, in order to do
My
They
and,
just abduct kids.
Yeah.
and so, Ryder, I don't want you to take my hesitance as a reason not to do anything.
Yeah.
Because my hesitance is entirely. I'll tell you exactly what my worst fear is. Let me just voice my absolute worst fear. You do something, CPS does something, somebody takes some kind of action,
Right.
and this kid who maybe they're just home alone, and maybe parents get home from work at 9:30 or something like that. It might be completely innocent, and they eat like a horse, and they just don't gain weight, and just because they're 13, and that happens sometimes when they're 13, everything's fine, and then. My worst fear is that then they don't feel comfortable coming back to wherever this place is, that they seem to be safe. In my mind, that's the worst case realistic scenario.
It's worth discussing.
Which isn't terrible.
Yeah, it's worth revealing that card and saying this could also come up in the deck. And it's like, okay.
Hypothetically, if that is the case.
Yeah.
Then great.
Then it sounds like the kid has a good home, is functioning pretty well, in which case they'll find
Healthy
another place to
and
go.
safe.
Right.
So
they'll adapt.
That's it. And that's it. Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah. I hope that helps.
Yeah. So you want to run at the kid in a loud voice with big arms or play dead. I don't remember.
It's a bear.
Like a bear. I don't remember what advice I got for the backpacking trip, but it's one of those.
If you do nothing else, be friendly, establish
dominance.
Let them know that you're there. That's the best thing.
And if you
Establish
do have
dominance.
food, hang it in a high place.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
want to
don't let
throw
them
it
get it.
over the tree branch.
Yeah.
I read that chapter. You do not want to get murdered by these rogue library bears. We are going to take a
Lie bears.
Libraries?
Librarians?
Damn
Librarians?
it! Episode title! We're going to take a quick break.
It's in there somewhere.
When we come back, we're going to talk about how to get over a toxic ex.
Today's episode is brought to you by Nathan's Hot Dog Scoop, Dr. Ben Don, Richard Macy, Lord Colin Stewart, and Sammy Scoop. Would you like to sponsor the show? Become a therapy producer at patreon.com/therapy. What time is it now?
It's time for work.
In Shanghai. It is 11:06 p.m. here in Las Vegas.
Oh my God.
Which means it is what time in Shanghai?
Jesus.
If
China's
you would
huge.
like to become a therapy producer, go to patreon.com/therapy and sign up. That's
How do we even know this?
patreon.com/therapy.
What is there like a multiples thing with time
No,
zones?
you don't. There are multiple time zones.
I'll
yes.
say 11:06 a.m.
Oh my God, that's a great choice.
I'm going to say 12 hours ahead of us.
Oh, that's probably
Oh, wait.
it.
No, behind us.
So it's tomorrow?
No.
No.
I'm saying it's
yesterday?
11:06 like 11:06 this morning.
This, yeah. Okay,
Behind us.
Yeah, behind us.
This date, but the
Yeah.
morning time.
It is.
Okay.
We're recording on January the 10th.
Yeah.
I'm saying it is 11:06 a.m. on January the 10th.
Okay, I want the same answer, except I want January the 11th
Oh, you're saying 12 hours
in the future.
in the future?
Because Tomorrowland is Australia, and Australia and China are somewhere near each
Yeah.
other.
What I don't remember is where the international date line is.
I'm going the same answer, but give me tomorrow.
Oh, Jacob, this kills me.
Fuck
yes! Yes!
No. You're not right. You're just you're more right. Okay.
I'll take it. That's fine.
You're far off, but
no.
you're closer.
How far off? What was the answer?
They're actually 16 hours ahead.
Oh.
So it is 3:07 p.m.
Okay.
tomorrow
On the 11th.
on the
It's
11th.
Tomorrowland.
It is in Tomorrowland.
Yes.
So you are correct. You are correct.
Yes.
Part of my problem here too is I'm not exactly sure where in China Shanghai is.
I think it's Western. No,
No,
Eastern
it's,
China.
It's Eastern China. It's on the sea.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yep. Because you get Shanghaied, which is an ocean term. This is how I piece together the geography, guys. I told you, Slumdog Millionaire rules. Eventually, I get it right, but it's not because I know where things are.
I'm gonna fight you on. Eventually, I get it right.
Debate with this because I just got this
You
one.
didn't get this right.
I was so close. I was off by 3 hours. He was off by 25 hours.
16 minus 12 is
I don't do math. What was it? 24?
Sorry, you're just telling us about how
Plus
right
three.
you are. Go on.
27? Is he off by 27 hours? I don't know.
No, you said you were off by 3 hours.
Yeah, I was off by 3.
16 minus 12 is.
Wait, what? I thought, but
16 minus 12 is.
what did I say? Okay.
You said 12.
4? Is it 4 hours? I was off by 4 hours?
There you
Yeah.
All right, but he was off by 20.
go. No, we've established that you were closer.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, you just said you were off by 3 hours.
All right, I'll take. So, okay, we all agree I'm better at you at Shanghai.
I'm better at you.
Yeah. I feel
I'm
like
better at you than talking.
I got this China shit figured out. See,
Oh.
the problem is we've been doing geography where I'm weak. Apparently, my sweet spot is that hemisphere of the world. So give me China trivia and Australia trivia.
Where is the international date line?
Fine.
Oh,
it's
isn't
in
it like
the middle
in the middle
of
of
the Pacific.
yeah, I think it's in the
Okay.
Pacific.
Yeah.
I think it's like on the other side of Hawaii.
There was one
Well,
island.
it's definitely not on this side of Hawaii.
No, not
No,
this
no,
side.
no. There was some island.
I know
In the
Hawaii. Hawaii
Pacific.
is 2 hours, 2 more hours.
I think it's 3.
They're
No,
two,
it's 2.
behind
It's
us.
2
Behind
behind
us, yeah.
Okay.
There's some island in the Pacific several years ago. I think it was like, I don't know, somewhere between like 10 to 15 years ago, where they moved across the international date line.
What time is it in
So they
Hawaii?
intentionally moved the date line because they were doing more business in Australia.
Yeah, you were right.
So
I
the
know.
interesting thing about that was that on that day, like at midnight, they just jumped ahead a whole day.
Oh.
Yeah.
So in this one country, there were no children born on this one day.
Oh, because it just didn't exist.
Because that
on
day
their
didn't
Like
exist.
January the 3rd just
That's
doesn't happen.
funny.
Yeah, there's no deaths, no births, nothing
That's
happened.
funny.
That date never
They go from the
existed.
2nd to the
Yeah.
4th,
That's
and that's
cool.
it.
Exactly.
That's
yeah.
super cool.
You like how I said, I know that Hawaii is 2 hours behind us.
Yeah.
And Jim doubted me
Yes.
and then looked it up.
Yes.
Evan was really quiet.
Yeah.
I confirmed it. I thought it was 3 because Hawaii's like 2,000 miles west of like California, and like the entire continental United States is 3,000 miles across. So you got to figure New York to California is at least 3 hours difference. I assumed California to Hawaii be pretty close, 3 hours, but it was 2, which shows you that we do an hour for every 1,000 miles. That's the math. I wonder if that works out across the whole globe. What if it's 1,000 miles is an hour? Whoa, dude, I think I just cracked the time zone thing.
Boom.
Boom!
The time zone
Suck
thing.
it, Ben Franklin.
Maybe
Idiots.
Are we moving 1,000 miles an hour?
Oh, the Earth?
Yeah.
Or the spin
are
of
we
the Earth?
spinning?
I feel like it's pretty close to that, actually. Isn't it like 1,500 miles per hour?
I don't know. I don't care.
If you ever want to have a really trippy experience, look up speed of light simulation or something like that, or demo on YouTube. It shows the speed of light going around the Earth, which is 7.5 times a second. So it's like flash, like really, really fast. Then it shows the Earth and the moon in the same frame, and it shows a beam of light going from Earth to the moon. and it'll freak you out because it's like 3 seconds, like going like really slow over space and then bouncing off the moon and coming back. And then it shows Earth to Mars and the speed of light, and it's insane. It is like a long ass time. It is like, I don't even remember, like 15 minutes or something like that. It's insane, man.
Wow.
Yeah, speed of light's fast, but space is big, yo. People don't think the universe
You heard
be
it
that
here
guy,
first.
but it be. How to get over a toxic ex. Hi, guys. I apologize in advance for the length of this. My name's Jade, and I'm currently struggling through a breakup. I say breakup in quotes because me and this guy were never officially boyfriend and girlfriend. And on top of that, we actually never met in real life. Long story short, we started talking on Tinder, and I moved states before ever meeting up with him. We had a plan to, but he chickened out. We continued talking for months after my move, even though I knew for a while he was a toxic person in real life, or in my life. He was very controlling, making it clear he didn't want me talking to or seeing anyone else. Manipulative, used to say he was obsessed with me, praised me, but then would belittle me, and make me insecure about my sexuality. I guess I'm bisexual, and he would make me feel bad or gross for even being with girls. In order to tell the story in depth, I have to write a novel. But to give some context with how detrimental this was, he dropped multiple bombs on me throughout these months. Number 1, he actually had a girlfriend, but they were in an open relationship because she was stationed out of state and wanted to experiment with girls. Number 2, they are actually married, but again, not, quote, really together, in his words. And then the straw that broke the camel's back, number 3, he wanted to experiment with guys while we were talking, asking if he just kissed a friend of his, if I would be okay with that. I said no, and that he should just stop talking to me if he needed to find himself in that way. Now I know this sounds like a shit show, and it is. I stayed talking to him despite knowing how bad he was for me, and I'm embarrassed. He begged me not to leave, and used to say things like, "This isn't a threat, but I'd want to die if you left me." He ended up kissing this person behind my back and told me about it after I asked. I have since told him off and blocked him. I'm learning so many new things about myself, gaining confidence, and trying my best to move on, yet I'm so messed up in the head about this whole thing and can't get him out of my mind. I've wanted to reach out so many times, and it drives me insane that he hasn't reached out to me. I want him to show he cares, even though I know he's terrible for me. How do I let this go? And more importantly, how do I stop myself from going back to someone who I know messes me up so badly? Thanks, Anonymous. Woo! That
Okay.
is a shit show, Anonymous. Woo-hoo-hoo.
Yeah, there's nothing about this that's healthy.
I was looking for one redeeming
Yeah,
nugget.
I'm trying to find the silver lining here. I mean, the good part is that it's over.
Yes, that is the best thing that could have happened in this situation.
Best advice is leave it over.
Yeah,
Oh,
exactly.
man.
Let it stay over.
That is rough.
So
Holy
I
smokes.
guess there's some. Here's the thing. Okay.
Well, the nice thing is you're right about everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely.
Everything you said,
we
you're
just
right.
agree with
Nailed
you.
it. Nailed it.
Now then, act accordingly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's the best thing that you can do. The absolute best thing you can do from this experience is learn about yourself from this experience. Because you're not there's nothing to gain from that relationship. There's nothing to gain from him. The only thing you can gain is insight, introspective, review of yourself and learning more about yourself. How did you get into this situation? How did you stay in this situation? What are the things that kept you in this situation? Because you can learn a lot there, and that's going to be some useful stuff, because this relationship's over, but this is going to happen again.
Yeah, you think there'll be like a pattern here.
Yeah, this isn't a one-off.
Yeah.
This is, with everything you said, just within the first few sentences, I'm like, oh yeah, this isn't good. And then it just kept going, nope, 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 nope.
Just checking a lot of red boxes.
Yeah,
here.
so
none of this is good.
So there's a lot here that I think, you can use this to your benefit and to really kind of look at, like, what does all this mean? What can I get out of this so that I don't find myself in this situation again? Because he was filling a need in your life.
Yeah, that's the key. Yeah, that's the key.
I mean, as much as we want to blame him, and there's enough blame to go around, I'm sure he's
Yeah, blame him a lot.
Go for it.
I'm fine
Yeah,
with it.
yeah.
I don't care.
but
He gets at least half the blame.
Yeah.
I'd say yes.
You probably get about the other half.
right.
Yeah,
But he
more or less.
he
Yeah.
is irrelevant.
Yeah.
He's irrelevant. He's not
Yeah.
in the picture. You are always in the picture. Okay. So we do need to take a look at that. Like, what was the role that he was playing in your life, and why did you need him in there playing that role? Because if that's not addressed, you're going to find the next dirtbag that's going to fill that spot.
That's it. Yeah, that pattern is going to replicate itself.
Yeah.
And, like,
James A. Dirtbag.
it's pronounced
I
Dirte.
go by Jimmy. Dirte. Dirte bag. Dirte bag.
Baj.
Baj.
Dirte Baj, it's French.
Dirtbag.
Dirt. Dirt Baj. That is priceless. That's a t-shirt right
I see
there.
another T-shirt.
I think that's a good one. No, but this is a mess. I mean, so like obviously your ex, if we're calling him that, yeah, there was a lot of withholding of truth. So not only is he in a relationship, he is in a married relationship. That has an openness to it. He's obviously very conflicted about his own sexuality because he's like repressing his own feelings about, his own homosexual feelings, but then judging you for yours.
hypocrisy.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
obviously
that's
when there's that much hypocrisy, you've got a lot of conflict going on, dude. And a lot of insecurity for a guy in an open relationship who is like all the things you say you
Yeah.
stand for, you're clearly violating in this thing a lot.
Oh, and I mean, just the open relationship part. Most people who have, functional, healthy, working, open relationships,
Yeah.
they will tell you early on when you guys start talking, hey, by the way, I'm in a relationship. Here's a picture of my significant other or something like that.
Right.
And they'll kind of walk you through that part of it as well.
They don't keep
because
it under
people who are
wraps.
who are in functional open relationships understand that is a rare thing, and they know that as part of bringing you into their lives, that they're going to have to explain that to you.
For it to be functional, it requires really good boundaries.
Yeah,
And
and
the fact
communication.
that- yeah.
And just letting you know, like, hey, I am married. I love my spouse. We have an open relationship. My spouse is going to hear about you if they haven't already heard about you. All of these things, because that sets up the now boundaries in your relationship.
Right.
Like getting married to this person is probably off the table.
Sure.
Mhm.
Because
Yeah.
they are already married.
How available are they?
Yeah,
for whatever
now
it
there
is we're
might
gonna
there
have?
might be some other form of relationship that you can pursue with that person, etc. In this imaginary world that I've just made up in my head. But I mean,
yeah.
you don't find that out by accident later on
Yeah.
in this type of thing. Now, a one night stand or something like that.
Sure.
Now that's a different can of bees.
Sure.
But like what you're talking about, having a relationship with this person, that isn't something that you find out accidentally later on.
No. So
Not
many red
when
flags.
not when it's healthy and working.
No. Yeah, tons of red flags here, Ryder. And I really agree with both those points. The other thing that Nick talked about is looking at yourself and asking, okay, what need was getting met by this guy? Because now I miss him. Now I want his attention. Now I long for that. And kind of checking in with yourself and saying, okay, what was the dynamic that I miss from this? Was it being valued? Even if their insecurity was toxic and they were overprotective and kind of imposing and controlling, did I like feeling valued by them? Did I like feeling like I was important to them? And, me drawing that boundary, isn't that still me valuing myself? And can't I still look for value elsewhere? But circling back around to the exact same situation that's already demonstrated dishonesty, a poor ability to see you as esteemable or valuable or giving you the trust and respect that you deserve, and the honesty, there's so many red flags here. And that's why you're writing in. That's why you broke it off. Honestly, if that blockade stays in place, I think it's the best thing for you.
Yeah. I mean, good for you for, putting an end to that.
Yeah. And you said in the
it wasn't
letter,
going to get better.
the thing I really wanted was to see that he cared, to feel pursued. And listen, Of course you do. That you're a human being. And like, that's how any of us feel. It's the most flattering thing in the world and the most validating thing in the world when somebody tells you they have feelings for you and they pursue you and you feel like, important to them and they're interested in you and they're taking that risk to reach out to you. That obviously it's extremely validating. And I don't see anything in this experience that you've had that smacks of value and honesty that's genuine. And so his fascination with you, his obsession with you, using passive-aggressive mental illness kind of threats that are like thinly veiled, boyfriend, I really hope that you keep meeting people. And I think that if you continue to explore and have new conversations, I'll bet you that leads to much better places than where this came from.
Mm-hmm.
So big stuff here. Great letter.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? We get it. Like, all relationship dynamics are fair, and I don't have an opinion about whether people meet in person. I think online dynamics are valid and real, and I have no issue with any of that. But I don't like how you're being treated here. And if you've already taken that brave stance to say we're done, keep going. Yeah, just keep swimming in that direction. I think that was the right decision.
Mm-hmm.
Now let's stick to it if you can. And if that can't happen, if you guys rekindle and you start talking again, I hope that you'll have a conversation about how you want to be treated in a relationship and what kind of honesty you require in order to maintain it. So stand up for yourself, yo. Boundaries. Yay, boundaries. We are at the end of the show, and we have a very important announcement, don't we, Nick?
We sure do. She came, she saw, she kicked some ass.
She kicked her husband's ass, which was glorious.
Yes, it was glorious.
I was very much rooting for her at the end.
Congratulations, Andrea Anderson, on
Champion.
taking the championship,
Yep.
the Pod Therapy Fantasy Football. Way to go.
That is Hall of Fame victory.
Would she have like one loss all
Oh,
season?
she crushed. It wasn't even close.
No.
Nice.
She bulldozed the entire league, and then she gets to the final, which is hilarious because she's giving me shit on Twitter, which is well-deserved that I criticized her for drafting with her heart, which I absolutely did. Like, and it's so funny because Andrea's draft strategy. So if those of you who don't know, when we did the Pod Therapy Fantasy Football League, we drafted via Zoom this year. I actually opened the draft playing that song from the Chicago Bulls. What was that?
The Alan Parsons Project song.
Yes, which nobody apparently could hear very good, but whatever. I did it anyway. And I announced every team, I was very proud of it. And then, of course, I stood up and took a bow as the only existing champion of the league until now. Now Andrea is the new champion. I am the former and forever champion of the Pod Therapy League. That's how I will be announced at all future events.
No, I don't think
I'll
so.
do it. I'll make sure I announce myself.
But Andrea, you do have a Pod Therapy Fantasy Football Championship T-shirt coming your way.
Ooh, are you making it?
Yeah,
cool.
I just have to design it.
You gonna make
Okay.
one for Jim?
Last one was made by Leon
Nope.
and Kate. It was a secret gift that they sent me, and I still have it.
Yeah.
And it has
Yep.
all my win-loss records on it, too. And has a drawing of me that Kate made. It was fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell you what, Jim.
Okay.
It's a new year.
Yeah.
You know, your mom gets mad at Nick and I
For picking on me all the
picking
time?
on you.
Yeah, she does.
So I'll tell you what.
Okay.
I'm going to let you off of the bet we made the other day where you have
Oh.
to buy drinks.
Thank you.
I'm letting you off on behalf of both Nick and I, but it has a condition,
Okay.
and that is Nick is going to design you a fantasy football championship T-shirt,
Uh-huh.
and you have to wear it.
Oh, so I can trade the beers for eternal shame?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll just buy a round. I think I'm good.
It's a night.
Okay,
It's not
I'll
a round.
yeah, it's
It's a
fine.
night.
Whatever that number is, it's cheaper than the shame.
All right.
So that's fine.
All
I'll stick
right.
to I'll pick up the tab. I think I can live through that.
I'm thirsty.
There you go.
Yeah, PT's has pretty affordable.
I'm going to come
rates.
loaded for bear.
I want all the things, and then throw it in the trash and make another one.
Yeah. You know what? One for everybody. One for everybody.
Whole bar's drinking on me tonight. Invited all of absinthe here. So congratulations, Andrea, champion of the league, and special honorable mention to her husband, Kevin, who did come in a respectable gentleman's second, also known as the first loser. So congratulations, Kev. Not that I can talk shit. I think I got like second to dead last.
You beat me. I am dead last.
It was
Dead
a
last.
mess.
Not even close. Like it wasn't even like
Oh.
I can't even see
Yeah.
the next person from where I'm at.
Yeah, we did not do.
I'm gonna get relegated.
extremely-
I'm gonna get relegated to a
Relegated
lower league.
into soccer.
Yeah.
You get dropped into a fantasy football league for soccer.
Ted
Oh,
Lasso is now the coach of Nick's league.
Yeah. I would have done much better
Oh.
with Ted Lasso.
That is a great idea. So we also want to thank all of you who support us at patreon.com/therapy. We have some new TheraPals to add to the bunch. Thank you, Ashley, John Schaub, Nicole, Christine, Triple S, and Laura Simon.
Yeah,
Welcome
we had
to
a
the
good
crew.
good week. Thanks, everybody.
Yeah, welcome to the whole group of peoples.
Group of peoples. Yeah, and we especially want to thank our other group of people, the bosses, the Saccharin 16, the Mr. Blah, blah,
You got it.
Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Thank you, Smitty Scoop, Jake Schneider, Robert Brownie Jr. Mint, Kayla Lansbury, Judy Schneider, Nathan's Hot Dog Scoop, King of Student Loan Debt. God damn it.
You're doing great.
You
buddy.
guys are talking up a storm.
Plow
tonight.
through.
Ben.
You got it.
Crazy Minna Scoop, Mason Miller,
Crazy
Carolyn
minnow
Albert.
scoop.
I said Minna, whatever. I'm done. I
Keep
quit.
going. No, don't.
Leon Cassad,
You're in.
Kevin Chamberlain,
Yes.
Malia,
Ooh.
Richard Macy,
Yep.
Cindy Ash,
Uh-huh.
New Stick,
Uh-huh.
Lord Colin Stewart, Dirty B, Ben Stanley, Sammy Scoop, Sarah Smith.
Oh, Sarah wrote to us to let us know she's not the Sarah Smith you think you know. In the episode that we announced her, you were like, I think I know her. And then she went on our Patreon. She's like, yeah, I don't know Jacob.
There's no way I said I think I know her.
It was something to that effect.
I think you said you did
like I know a Sarah Smith.
Yeah, and then she had a
I
whole
wa-
comment. Where she's
I
like,
must have said like I wonder if that's the Sarah
I'm-
Smith I know.
That
I'm
was
pretty
it.
sure you said I know that
I
Sarah
definitely
Smith.
know
you
this
pointed
person.
with conviction into our general direction at our script.
She owes me $10.
I know it. But yeah, she did want to clarify. Also, Sandra
I-
McWaffle, why are you not a TheraProducer? If you were a TheraProducer, I'd make Nick read it every single time to make sure he says your name. She's a pterodactyl. It's worth the extra $10 to make us say it every single time.
It's really not.
I think it is.
No.
She literally got a nickname out of us. McWaffle. I love it.
I think she came up with that on her own.
You
If you'd
said
like
it
to hear this
wrong.
episode uncut and unedited,
You
enjoy
don't
our
trust me.
side projects.
Save that dollar.
Go to patreon.com/therapy and thank you for supporting mental health.
That is all the time that we have for this week's session. We want to thank our landlords, Matt Mattingly's Ice Cream Social Podcast, and thanks to those of you who contributed to our show today. We really appreciate it. Remember, pod therapy isn't something you should keep all to yourself. Share this episode with someone who needs it by opening the episode's description in your podcast app and copying and pasting that link we provided into your social media. Don't forget, you can find us at facebook.com/podtherapy, on Twitter @PodTherapyGuys, and at patreon.com/therapy.
Do you want to submit a question to the show? Ask anonymously at podtherapy.net or email us at podtherapyguys@gmail.com. I'm Nick Tangeman.
Shanghai Jim.
Thanks, and we'll see you for your appointment next week.
I feel like that'd be a solid nickname for me. Shanghai Jim.